Everyone seems to have an opinion or a solution when it comes to racial problems and tensions. Some make sense, believe me, some don't. Well, tonight we have some people who think the answer is separatism, setting up an all-white or an all-black country with the United States. Now, we've even got a black man who wants the white taxpayers to make a cash settlement with blacks to go back to Africa. Is separatism an answer? You and I know, but we're going to let the rest of the jerks find out tonight. Join us. Some of you were with us last night. We're going to find out we have some of the similar guests that we had last night with us again tonight. We've got Tom Metzger at home base, who is director of the White Aryan Resistance. Daniel Johnson with the League of Peace Amendment Advocates. Daniel. All right. Carl Strait is at a loudmouth. Of course, he's an Aryan Youth Movement member. Robert Brock, who is the president of Self-Determination Committee. Old friend of mine from the New York Daily News, Dick Carter, editorial writer for that organization. Let me start off with Tom Metzger again. Tom, you're the founder of the White Aryan Resistance Movement. Why is it whites only, or is it everything else that you're resisting?
We're pushing for self-determination for peoples. I thought that's what they wanted. People want self-determination. We don't want to master anybody. We want to be an emperor of anything. We want white separation. And I think that's the best thing for blacks, too. But it's
you like the idea of a separate country for blacks and whites?
Blacks have to make up their mind right now which way they're going. They're at a critical juncture in their history. They're going to have to make up their mind to come to the table and deal with white separatists and other people, American Indians and so forth, or continue this phony game with the economic elite in this country.
Well, you say they're at a critical juncture in their history right now. Apparently you don't know too much about history of the Bible, pal. I mean, their critical juncture was when they were the mamas and papas of civilization.
Mamas and papas. What I'm telling you is that the struggle is going to intensify for the struggles of whites and blacks. Now is the critical time to have national conferences of separatists and people who know their answers are not in Washington anymore.
All right, let me come to Dick Carter. Dick, give me a break for a second. What do you see when you look into the face of Metzger? Should we pay attention to a group like his?
Well, I don't see anything wrong with his face, but I think his ideas are nonsense.
Right? Let's go to Daniel. Let's establish this.
You're working for the white power structure. You should love it.
He's working for what, sir?
He works for the white power structure. He must love it.
I think we should realize that a lot of people are saying in the black community that the blacks are a nation within a nation. And it's about time that they are a nation of themselves without domination by the majority. And that's what we're seeking.
So without that domination of the majority, you are therefore saying that I am not going to dominate the majority. I am therefore going to set up my own country. And the blacks, like it or not, are in their own country. What about if the blacks wanted to live in your country?
The way that the Pace Amendment is structured, that would not be possible.
Let's...
Okay, the concept here...
You just got through saying... Wait a second. You just... Zip it.
Okay.
You just got through saying they're being dominated, all right? Here's an opportunity. I'm going to let you set up your own country, all right? And I hope, Pat, you're the only one there so you can take care of yourself this way, all right? You set up your country. You don't want to dominate anyone, all right? You don't want anyone to dominate you. You don't want to dominate anyone. What if a black person wants to live in your country.
We are irrevocably committed to the separation of the races. We think that any form of mixing of the races, such as through integration, through apartheid, through segregation, through any concept.
Why?
Because we think that it is bad for all groups of people.
Why?
We think it is bad for the...
How come?
It is not too late. It's never too late. Okay, what? That's why.
Okay, the reason is...
You got the message from the audience, right?
Okay.
I mean, he obviously didn't get the razor from his mama, but he got the message.
All right. We think that there are a lot of problems that America is experiencing now that can be overcome. Be an improvement for all peoples through this method.
Integrationists are the problem. Integrationists are the ones that are killing the black community. This is Harlem. Harlem was a culture before it became integrated. You have lost your culture, and you need to regain it again through segregation and separation.
Let's hear this. Let's hear it.
Look at the black communities. The black communities are dead.
Hey, look at this audience, Jack. This audience is integrated. What's wrong with that?
Look at the black.
There's black, there's white out there. What's wrong with that? You want an all-white audience? You want an all-white audience?
Because according to the black nationalists, their position is that integration means subjecting their culture to the culture of the dominant majority, and that is wrong, and I agree with them.
Name the black nationalist who thinks that way. Name one.
Dr. Obadeli of the Republic of New Africa.
Name another one in America.
Oh, he is in America.
No,
where have you been? He is in America.
Name somebody.
He lives in America. What about Louis Farrakhan? What about the black Hebrews? What about the Self-Determination Committee? What about with any number of black nationalists? We're dealing with the integrationists, and the integrationists are traitors to their people.
You know something? He might not be wrong. I can't think of a black man or a white man who'd want to live with this guy. Let me give you.
I'll tell you why they don't want to deal with those people. Because the economic
I'll let you talk in a minute. I'll let you talk in a minute. I'm going to read this. Correct me if this is not correct, if this is not correct. 14th Amendment.
It would replace the 14th Amendment.
This would replace the
27th
14th Amendment, Section 2, all right?
Yes.
Go to Section 2. No person shall be a citizen of the United States unless he is non-Hispanic white of the European race, in whom there is no ascertainable trace of Negro blood, nor more than 1/8 of Mongolian, Asian, Asia Minor, Middle Eastern, Semitic, Near Eastern, American Indian, Malay, or other non-European or non-white blood, provided that Hispanic whites, defined as anyone with an Hispanic ancestor, may be citizens if, in addition to meeting the aforesaid ascertainable trace of percentage tests, they are in appearance indistinguishable from Americans whose ancestors' home is the British Isles or Northwestern Europe. Only citizens shall have the right and privilege.
Haven't you ever read the Constitution? The old Constitution?
Robert, let me talk to Robert Brock. Robert is the president of Self-Determination Committee. Clearly, Robert, these rocket scientists lost a few tiles during re-entry. I understand you want to start a separate black state. Is that any less racist than he is?
No, I didn't say anything about I wanted to start...
Let me hear his microphone, please. Go ahead, sir.
I didn't say anything about I wanted to start a separate black state.
May I hear this microphone, please? Now. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I didn't say anything about I wanted to start a separate black state. All that I'm concerned with here is that blacks, including the one in this room, receive reparations for 246 years of chattel slavery. That is one... Wait a minute. That is one of my platforms. I have not found a black agreeing disagreeing with taking some of that money that was cruelly taken from us by white people and Jews. Jews? Well, just a minute. You hear this man over here to leave Jews out of this? That brings in a Jew issue. I'm not going to let him Jew bait me, because I do know, since he brought the Jews up, that the Jews brought over 100 million blacks here in cruel slavery.
100 million?
So how can I leave the Jews out of this? So I don't want this anti-Semitism bag put on me. I want to put down what actually happened by whom. But all I'm concerned with is blacks receive compensation for reparations for 246 years of slave labor that you whites and Jews stole from us. That's what I'm here about.
Now, let me ask you now. We're going to get tough. We're going to go into roots, baby. Let's go into roots.
Wait a minute. Let's hear what the white man got to say.
You want to get that way? Let's go into roots, all right? First of all, my great-grandfather might have been an... I'm not. I ain't paying for what he did. He's lying in the grave, all right? You're going to have...
Let me answer that. Okay, let's answer that.
Wait a second. Secondly, here's how I pay reparation, man. I pay reparation by going out and loving my brothers and not trying to separate them, all right? You want to separate them.
All right, let's get on with that. Okay, notwithstanding, you're getting a lot of applause here. Blacks would also accept reparations, but love ain't got nothing to do with 246 years of money. That's what I'm here. Let me finish now. Let me finish. I'm going to stay on that.
I'll pay you in the Confederate dollars you want. We'll be right back.
Downey Jr. Show, furnished by Quality Limousine Service. When in New Jersey, call 201-785-9071.
Let me come to, in this segment, let me come back to Daniel Johnson, League of Peace Amendment Advocates. Daniel, Robert and Tom, all right? Robert and Tom. I guess I want you all to answer this question most of all. What benefits do you think you would achieve through separatism, and what horrible evil would we be escaping, all right, that you're talking about getting rid of?
Okay, addressing purely the issue of separation of the races, I think that we will be better able to develop economically with each of our various groups. There will be less oppression among the various groups in here. I think with regard to the whites will not be displaced from this country as is happening now through the massive amount of immigration.
What's going to be your big economic sale item? A stupid button like that?
No, I think economically, the whites will suffer to an extent because they can no longer rely on the cheap labor from South and Central America, nor taking advantage of the labor of the black communities here. And so we may end up paying more for a head of lettuce, but I think it's important for the advancement of everyone. I think the third world can develop by having people return to the ancestral homeland to help develop a countries in Africa, the likes of which that continent has never seen.
This is their homeland, baby. Who's going to decide who gets what part of the country? You?
Malcolm X said...
Who's going to decide? I asked you a question.
No, it will be done by the legislators.
The legislatures?
Yeah.
The legislatures, which are controlled by whites, right?
I want to talk about reparations.
You can talk about reparations. Let me hear some answers from this man who obviously has fewer brains than he has beard.
Okay, the legal structure would be that, first of all, the amendment would become law, and that was done through the amendment process. Once the amendment becomes law, then it would be enforced together by the states and the federal government.
When we talk about...
Let's hear Tom try and do himself a soft shuffle
I agree with Mr. Brock on some things. Mr. Brock is saying, now look, if this government can give reparations of $20,000 per head to every Japanese that was interned in this country, what about blacks, and what about hundreds and hundreds of thousands of indentured white Irish that were in the South as bond slaves?
I'm Irish, pal.
Well, get some of it.
Tough.
You need...
see, this is the trick. This is the trick you're trying to do.
No.
Shove the Irish over here, the blacks over there, the Italians,
it's not.
Spanish.
But
It's a trick.
Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of white people worked in the same conditions as black slaves in the South. You forget that. And they worked in the industrial mills of the North in Britain in terrible conditions.
You say this is
Let's
typical.
start giving
This is
everybody
typical.
reparations and attack the system.
This is typical.
Let's give everybody these things.
This is so typical of the white guy who's trying to say the things he thinks the black man wants to hear. Mr. Brock,
What was the question again?
the question is there any other way? Let's talk about it. If we were going to pay reparations, all right?
Right.
How do you really set an amount on the human misery that was visited on a race of people for dozens of generations? How do you set an amount, all right?
We can say if you can pay the Japanese for $20,000.
I'm against that, too. It was done, but I was against it.
So, first of all, we'll take half of that 100 million you make and leave it in Harlem.
100 million I make? Baby, when I make it, I'll leave it in Harlem myself.
We'll start with you, Morton Downey. The 100 million that your radio station makes,
when I make
we'll
it,
take it
baby,
and leave it
I'll
in
leave it
Harlem.
at the baby grand.
That's what we'll
You
start
ain't dipping
reparation
into
with
my
you.
pockets,
You
Pop.
can't.
You're not dipping into my pockets. You ain't dipping. Get up here. Get up here. Get up here.
You made a big separation.
You got everybody clapping in Harlem. Leave half of the 100 million in Harlem to take care of rats and roaches. What the hell are you doing in Harlem?
When I drop my bucks in Harlem, it'll be at the baby grand, Pop.
Yeah, I know.
And I won't be buying you a drink. You couldn't handle it.
We'll start reparation with you. What the hell are you talking about?
Feisty old isn't he?
Yeah, you leave it here.
Let me come back to Dick Carter. There have been legitimate separatist movements. Will you shut up, zip it?
No, I ain't gonna shut up. Get that 20 million.
Dick, let me ask Dick Carter. There have been legitimate separatist movements in this country. For instance, the effort in Boston to have Roxbury secede from the city of Boston and become Mendel land, all right? How about, is there a place for such movements in this country? And I happen to think there are, all right? But you give me your opinion.
Well, I think the gentleman's idea about reparations is interesting. I have to say that. I hadn't thought about monetary reparations, but it is food for thought. Regarding the separatist movement, though, I'm a little familiar with the Roxbury situation, and the city of Boston is probably the most segregated city in the United States, which you probably know. And in that regard, it just might be that would be the answer to a problem there in Boston. And I know that there have been some other movements in this country for racial separation, separatist nations, separatist parts of the country. I don't happen to subscribe to them. I think
Most of them came from whites, all right, who wanted the blacks out, period.
What about Marcus Garvey? What about his
Well, that was
movement?
the back.
Man, why don't you name someone who's a little bit more famous than the second string third baseman of the Cubs?
Country in separation, whole cities,
Separation
counties.
is a rising movement. Look what integration has done. It has hurt everybody. Integrationists are the people who are tearing this country down. The New Age movement is separation, and that's what we're moving forward to, and you're going to see a change.
Let me ask Carl, all right? Strangely enough, this guy is, in his silence, is making more sense than you guys are with your mouths. Carl,
Just wait my turn.
is your separatist movement based on a desire to foster your own heritage, or really is it just a hatred of non-whites?
It's not a hatred of non-whites. It's to foster our own people, and you know, it's not based on hatred. It's based on self-survival.
Huh? You love blacks?
I love them. Do I? Excuse me. Wait.
You love them?
Did I say? Wait. Slip of the tongue. Slip of the tongue.
Do you?
No,
love,
I don't love them.
You don't love blacks?
No.
Do you love Hispanics?
I can respect.
Do you love
back
the human race? Do you love the human race?
Do you?
Yeah, I love the human race. Yeah, I do.
You love me?
Yeah, I love you. I love you. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't have to hate someone because they're different.
I don't hate blacks.
Well, do you love them? Do you love them?
If you hate it, if you want to
It's not a matter of love or hate.
Yeah, it is.
No,
yeah,
it's not.
Is.
It's a matter of survival.
There's no gray area. No, there's no gray area. You either love the human race or you hate it. You can hate individuals, but do you hate a whole race?
No, I don't hate them.
Do you love a whole race?
I love my race, the white race.
Who says you're white?
Huh?
Who says you're white?
Well,
How long has your family been in this country?
Quite a few generations.
How many generations?
Oh, probably 5 or 6.
5 or 6. Where is it?
Well, I'll pass.
Let's check this out.
I'll pass.
Let's check this out.
I'll pass.
Where'd your family come from, Carl? Where'd your family come from?
England and Ireland.
England and Ireland. Okay, then you know.
I can't hear everybody.
Let me be heard, please. You know, if your family came from England, that England, the sun never set on the empire, right? And so everyone was welcome into England. A lot of Jamaicans. Are you sure you don't have black blood in your family? I don't think you qualify.
Let's talk about
Downey, may I say something here? One issue that we haven't addressed that I think will fall on deaf ears here is that in the 1960s, America was basically 90% white and 10% black. There were a few other minorities. Now that we are seeing such drastic demographic changes that soon white America will cease to exist. We will be overrun by other peoples. We must take measures to preserve that. And when that happens, it will not be good for any of the peoples that remain in this country.
Use your brain, babe. Use your brain.
In all the previous years, it was the white majority and the other minority. Why should the minorities overrun the whites?
That's what we're doing.
Why should they?
The white
That's what's
elite from the
happening. I
poor
don't
white.
think it should.
How is this happening?
Through non-white immigration, non-white fecundity, and white marriage.
Next, we're going to find out if we've really taken the chains off the slaves. We'll hear from Mr. Brock. Thank you. Robert Brock is still with us at one of the loudmouths. Robert, let me ask you a question. You have a rather interesting theory regarding slavery and reparations. Yes. Would you explain it completely to our audience?
Here's what it is. On January the 26th...
Get closer to the microphone.
Okay.
On
January the 26th of this year, 1988, our organization filed in federal court in L.A. disclaiming the entire U.S. Constitution as having effect over blacks, disclaiming entire U.S. citizenship for all blacks. The judge refused to answer the question, and that thereby exhausted all legal remedies. What we are saying, blacks have never acceded to the U.S. Constitution because the Constitution that enslaves you cannot free you. Therefore, the question then remains, are blacks citizens by their own choice? Are they slaves and still being called citizens? That's the issue. Therefore, we maintain, and we can push it forward now, that no blacks are subject to the draft, that no blacks are subject to the United States government if they want to enforce that right. What'd you say?
Let's hear it.
Now, when you say go to Russia, this white boy over here said go to Russia.
You see, let me tell you something, Mr. Brock.
Yeah?
You get pissed as hell if someone called you a black boy.
Well,
so
that's all I ever been called.
Not by people with brains.
Wait a minute.
Not by people with brains you haven't been called.
No, I'm not worried about that boy thing. Whatever I'll call you, that's what you are if you enslaved me for 246 years.
That's what you think I am, pal.
Well, that's what you are.
I don't accede to that. I don't accede to that.
That's what you are, a slave master.
I don't. I'm not a slave master, and you're not my slave.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
I don't. Just because we're in Harlem, don't think you're going to frighten me, because I don't go for that crap.
The white boy.
The white boy.
The
white boy, whether you like it, likes a black.
Oh, no.
I agree with him.
No. You see, what you have? You see, no, we can't get away with that in Harlem. Say you leave $100 million here from your show and you help that. All that I'm saying...
You come and give me $100, baby, I'll give you 50% of it, or 100% of this.
My agenda, wait a minute, my agenda is this. My agenda is that you owe blacks reparations for this slave labor.
My agenda is I owe you nothing but to be my brother, to be my friend, to make sure you have every opportunity that I have. Same to you, brother. I owe you this. That's what I owe you.
And I'm going to tell you where you can get the reparations.
I respect this man right here.
I'm going to tell you where you can get the reparations.
This man's telling the truth.
Pay this reparation off you all the blacks in this building. 246 years of cruel and inhuman slavery.
You're right.
Calling us citizens will be still slaves.
And you, sir, are a political whore.
Well, how do you set value?
How do you set value?
I pay the same game you do. I can be as stupid as you.
How do you set a value?
I agree with him.
How do you set a value on 240 years of cruelty?
Slave labor. That's what you do.
About reparations.
Read the book, a damn political whore. You around here making money, got everybody clapping for you. Pay your reparations.
Let this man get up there. Let this man, go ahead.
How can you pay the Japanese just last week $20,000 apiece because they were... Wait a minute.
I don't want to pay him.
America paid the Japanese. If white America can pay the Japanese, God knows they owe the black man a whole lot.
I agree with you. I agree with you. You bet.
That's true.
You bet. If white America, black America, brown America can pay the Japanese, we owe the blacks a lot more. But I don't agree with paying the Japanese.
Hey, Mort.
No. Dick Carter.
What about the slave labor?
I want to ask Dick Carter something. Do you think that any proposition of black America in 1988 really identifies with slavery? I mean, do you think there's such a thing
If you want to know who brought the slaves to it...
Will you shut up before I give you a slave? I'm asking Dick Carter. Do you really think there's such a thing maybe in existence in this country as economic slavery?
Economic slavery, absolutely, absolutely. All of us are economic slaves, whether we're black or white, but especially the blacks.
Oh,
Especially the blacks. You shut up.
you got your nose in the trough.
The whole thing here is, I didn't always have my nose in the trough.
Yeah.
I came up the hard way. We're here in Harlem,
Sure.
in the middle of Harlem week, but did you look outside on the street?
Do you live in Harlem?
Did you see the condition of the street? Economics is what we ought to be all about. Now, I'm not so sure that I agree with the monetary reparation, although it's interesting. What I'd certainly like to see, is all of us, all of the minorities especially in this room, getting a chance to get some good jobs so that we can make some good money and stop being kicked in the ass when we walk in the employment office, stop being last hired and first fired, and stop being denied chances to live in scumbag towns like Yonkers, New York, that nobody would want to live in anyway.
You know, we forget.
I'll tell you what
Let's remember one
We want
thing.
$100 billion
Listen, just
from
one second.
Israel.
One
For all the
second.
money we poured into Israel. That's good reparation money. Bring it back.
I'd absolutely give it to those white people who are in the cycle of poverty too, pal. All right?
Who rents these hotels and motels to these blacks? The Jews do, the Jewish landlords.
One thing that I think we should address, we have a...
Hey, fuzzy face, we'll be back in just a second. Stand by. All right. I want the audience at the loudmouths because I want to hear. Let me go first to a young lady. Angie, you didn't get a chance to speak in the last segment. You've been listening to everything that's going on. You're a black American, or are you a black Indian, or are you a black Hispanic? I don't know.
No, I'm a black American.
All right.
Most definitely. You want to hear my comment?
You damn right I do.
What I say is that I feel that people should have the right to do as they want to. I don't feel they should be forced to do anything. I don't feel that people should be forced to go anywhere. That they should be free to come back and forth. And as for the guy with the thing on his head,
You mean the guy with the rug?
You really like that, don't you?
I can't remember his name.
The guy with the rug.
Right. That's what they called it here in the audience. I heard it earlier.
From the rabbi, and I got screwed on it.
He and his group are what we call human debris. And therefore, with debris, hopefully it's the kind that's disintegrates into the ground, and I hope that happens very soon.
We throw it into the ocean and washes up on shore.
Yeah, something like that. But then, wait, there could be a problem, Mort. There could be a problem. We already have the beaches closed right now because of needles. If these guys come back on the beach, forget it. You won't get to go for the next 5 years.
You close the beaches. You close the beaches because of needles, and you close them because...
Yeah, I know. I'm saying that takes longer to remove.
Yeah. Let me go to this man here.
Waste of time, waste of time.
I would like to address, I would like to address the issue that I believe is really important, Morton Downey, and that is that racism in this country is alive and well. And I would not want for us to be deceptive about, like it's not racism. We are here together. This is a beautiful audience. Everybody seems to be getting along, both black and white and Hispanic. Maybe you should run for president. But the point that I'm trying to make, Morton Downey, is that the true history of black people in this country and what happened during slavery has never been told. And that is the mental destruction that happened to black people. And when he talks about 246 years of slavery, he talking about 246 years where there was no mother, no father, no daughter, no brother, no sister. A black man couldn't even get a piece of for 240 years. You hear me? Without permission from the slave master. That's how rough it was.
Hey, I must be a slave then, because I can't get a piece of either.
Hold on a second. I'm only saying that in 1865, at the Emancipation Proclamation, white folks never was considerate enough to say, hey, let's assist this captive nation, you understand, who didn't have to come here, and let's restructure their family, at least build a family. Give them an education, which was never given to them. You forget, one till about 30 years ago, blacks was allowed to even read and write. Okay, so there was never a program. I'm talking about a black program, Morton Downey. Every time money came to black people to fix us up, the liberals put strings to it so we don't become entrepreneurs. And we never.
All right, let me go to some of the other people. Angie.
I agree with
Angie, let me talk to some of the other people in the audience. This is our audience segment. I want the audience up there. Sir, go ahead.
My question is for the man in the middle. Why do you automatically get America when Native Americans were here first?
Okay. This isn't Harlem. This is a black-white issue. I just soon pass that by.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no, you don't. Oh, no, you don't. Address it.
Okay, sure, I'll answer it. At the time Columbus discovered America, it was estimated that less than 8 million people lived in all of North and South America. This was a wilderness undeveloped by no one. The blacks and the whites came in here and built it up, and now it's being taken by other people. This was a wilderness.
Columbus covered America for Europe.
Did Columbus discover America for bucks? For bucks. Let me see the gentleman back there. Sir, let this gentleman speak. Go ahead, sir.
This man up here talks like... All right.
Go ahead, sir.
This guy with this round thing on his chest up here, he talks like America was a clean styrofoam cup. Man, America was populated by people, and people, all kinds of people, built America.
Look,
black folks, Orientals, Hispanics, all kinds of white folks. And you time to wake up and smell the coffee, man.
You're the one that's got to wake up. Listen to this. I used to have...
Listen, you reading a history book. You reading a history book that was written by some perverted old white man. Wake up! Wake up!
I came here having...
When he gets awake, stand with us. to Robert, Daniel, Carl, and Tom. In this order, in 30 seconds, give me one compelling reason why we should pay attention to what you have to say. Start it with Robert. 30 seconds, Robert.
You should pay attention to what I say about blacks receiving $500,000 each reparation because slave labor was produced for this country and they didn't get any of it.
All right.
Blacks should be repatriated.
All right. Let me hear next from Daniel.
I came here with great expectation, expecting Harlem to be something different. I had an idea that Harlem was truly represented the black community. I can see that Harlem is this is nothing but the mindless integration of slop that I've heard for the last 20 years.
Well, that's where you came from,
I tell you, no, I got a time schedule here. Let me tell you something. This is the guy who says forget the Indians, all right? Now, while we were talking about setting up separate nations, we set them up for the Indians. They're called reservations. On those reservations, which we generously set up to give the Indian his own nation, all right? There is 60% unemployment, 22% suicide rate, and the highest incidence of alcoholism in the world. This is what he wants for white America and black America.
People? What about not being controlled?
I want to hear it. Carl, you got 30 seconds.
Me?
30 seconds.
Okay, I believe they're in separation for the survival of both races, black and white.
All right, and let me go to Tom last.
The struggle of hundreds of millions of whites, poor whites in this country, struggle against the same system. The declaration of war was made in November 1984. It's intact. If you want to come to the table, we're waiting. But we're not going to wait very